They could have single-handedly stopped everything, but they didn't. And I was thinking, I'm like, how could they do it? How could they do it? How could they do it? And I kind of get it. On the one,
I don't. No excuse.
Think about it this way. On the one side, you have, okay. On the one side, they're messed up. But it fed a little bit into their craving as well. Oh my God, I'm with an international star. You got to remember, they're at presidential suites. They're on tour, first class tickets. He's grooming them as much as the kids. Like this is a big process. But now think about it Think about it right now that, for example, Mitch, your son's born in a few months.
Yeah.
July?
Yeah.
In July, okay. Kid gets older. Here's Theo, Uncle Dimitri.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, hanging out. And your son goes, you know what? And I know it's overstating it, but he goes, hey, you know what? Can I, I want to finish watching TV in Uncle Dimitri's bed. We have a relationship, right?
Right.
So you're not going to think anything of it. You don't look at, and I hope you don't, but you don't look at me as any sort of predator. So you'll say, you know what? One night, 2 nights, circumstances go fine. But I'll tell you what. That's what he was doing to the parents. They made the parents feel really safe. Now, I'm not excusing it, but they made the parents feel way too safe. Guys, Roster, if you haven't guessed it, we've been, starting talking about the uncontroversial Leaving Neverland documentary.
Way to start podcast 77 with some crazy controversy. People are like, what the heck happened to these guys?
Well, we got in conversation, just playing the music. I can't stop, won't stop. Got to carry it in.
Now, we had to change the whole podcast because Jonathan ripped it apart last week, and now we have to come up with a whole new segment, whole new idea of everything.
Wardrobe change.
Yeah, everything. Thanks a lot.
Wardrobe change. He is.
I remember the good old days where you guys used to talk about strippers and porn and shit.
I was happy. I would have loved to start off this podcast that way. Dimitri just went on his crazy tangent.
I was in the middle of the tangent.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you see me? Did our guest interrupt you?
No,
he did not.
And we're fighting early too.
And that's right.
And in front of our guest. This is bad. This is bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Locker Room Talk, the infamous South Carolina George.
Wow.
George?
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
George.
And South Carolina George, we've been talking about you.
Yeah.
Mitch has met you. You guys are family.
Yeah.
This is my first. This is a great day. I was just expecting to come to the studio and talk about some sports.
Yeah.
I didn't think that South Carolina George single-handedly responsible for 80% of the United States downloads.
Probably. In each state, we make him go to each state and download once, and then he leaves.
Just,
then he comes
just
back.
for metrics.
So thank you, George.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Thanks, guys. Hey, it's 85% now, and it's my pleasure. You guys deserve all the accolades. You deserve all of it. Personally speaking, I'm a huge fan of the podcast, and anything I can do to help, I will. So thank you for having me on, boys.
And not just us. You're also a huge fan of our local Calgary Flames, which is why you're here. Let's call it what it is. If for any of the roster members that think that they're real Flames fans, you're not. Let me explain. Let me bring this down for you.
Tell some truth here, Mitch.
Here's the truth, real Flame fans, who you think you are. Here's South Carolina George living in South Carolina. It is not a hockey hotbed.
No, not North Carolina.
Not North.
It's the South Carolina.
That's right.
Further down. Yeah.
Streams every game, watches every game, and then you're like, you know what? That voice, it sounds familiar. Yeah, that's right. He's actually the first caller in the Hot Stove Lounge after the game as well. This guy's also on a 2-hour delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you think you're a fan? You're not. And then they make the playoffs, and he buys a ticket and takes 17 hours to get to Calgary
to
watch his
Calgary
You
fan.
call yourself a fan?
You think you're a fan? You're
nothing.
Nothing. Okay, nothing. That is commitment. That is heart. What more do you want? They argue about the gold. Nothing's good enough in Calgary. This is a real fan. South Carolina, George.
Are you excited, George?
Very excited now. On a side note, I have been accused of being slightly insane for doing stuff like that, but I will take the criticism. I love my team. I love this city. This is originally home for me. So, you know what the hell? You get an opportunity, boys, in life. Life is short. You take them.
That's well said.
What do you
can I say something? Did you see what I see?
that everyone has wisdom that comes onto this podcast
except us.
Ah, man. Every time we have a guest on, I listen to the podcast. And I say, these people need the podcast more than us
right.
because they're better than us.
Exactly. In fact, there was rumor and some emails that I received that the initials RLRT is gone now. It's JRLRT, meaning Jonathan has now overtaken the podcast as well.
It's unbelievable.
His
You mean Dr. Ryan Todd Jr.?
Yeah, literally. Is not a. Does he have his
Articulate.
doctorate? I think he does have his doctorate.
I think in 2 languages.
Yes, also very
This
true.
guy's
Very
crazy.
true.
Oh, my
Gentlemen, let's start it up. How was the weekend really quickly? George, obviously you're traveling to get yourself here. How was the trip from South Carolina?
Well, when you book a ticket with 3 days notice out of nowhere, you're not exactly going to find the most optimal flight. So I ended up finding one coming through Houston, and normally that's about a 10-hour flight, which I'm fine with. Hey, I'm grateful I found a ticket. I can come. Well, I get to Houston. Apparently, they thought they were going to Saskatoon instead of Edmonton, which was my final destination. Well, the pilot, we got to get a new pilot in here. So I'm like, okay, get the pilot to get us to Edmonton, because if we go to Saskatoon, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So, fine.
Anyone
now,
going to Saskatoon is going to be
very true,
pissed. Yeah.
completely agree. So now they don't have fuel in the plane. We don't have enough fuel to get to Edmonton. So now I'm sitting here on the plane for 3 hours. I'm already inside the plane, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get to Edmonton until like 3 in the morning. Sure enough, 3:05 a.m., Mountain Standard Time, I land. But for this opportunity, for this experience, my friends, it was worth it.
No, that's awesome.
That's it. And did you highly overpay for the Flames playoff ticket? Well worth it. I get you.
Well, okay. So to the normal person, yes, I did. But to a sick individual such as myself, yeah, it was worth it.
It's a South Carolina tax.
Yeah, it's a South Carolina
Yeah,
tax.
it's a tax. Just, you got to get the.
I'll say this: the exchange rate helped me out, so that's a positive.
Very good.
He's making
American dollars.
dollar.
That's right. That's right.
That's
exactly.
awesome.
You? How's
You know what? It was my birthday weekend.
That's right.
Happy
It was-
birthday,
thank
buddy.
you very
Happy
much.
birthday.
And but I didn't do much. I kept it quiet. I
it
don't
on the
know.
quiet.
I kept it on the quiet.
You better
side.
hope. If I find out you had a birthday party without me, there's going to be hell to pay.
Well, I had like 50 people at my house. I don't know if you want to call it
That's
a
not
party. It was a
no.
gathering.
I mean, when I throw a party,
Everyone was. You know,
50's a
I've
minimum.
Mitch, I've dodged you for too long. You're
Yeah.
coming.
I'm coming.
Any event, you're coming.
Thank you.
Even Christmas. I'm just going to invite you to our
I
Christmas.
think I deserve to come.
I dodged you for the
The
baptism.
baptism, yeah.
You know, my brother's probably going to dodge you when he has
Yeah,
his
no,
baptism.
fair enough. That's respect.
right. But I
respect
could,
that.
you know what?
Starting forward.
You always as the family thing. You always get one invite.
I get one.
Why don't I put you down?
You know what? That'd
You know
be
what?
great.
You come
Greatly
with.
appreciated.
You come with.
I'm going to tell you this. God willing, everything's okay with me. I'm going to invite you too.
Yeah, we're
To
the
my
home and
stuff.
away.
Yeah, we'll do the thing. But can I say something? I think that gentleman over there needs an invite too.
He's coming with.
He's coming with. Jeff's my +1.
Jeff's +1.
Done
So
one.
I'll invite you.
Yes.
You bring Jeff as the +1.
I got Jeff as my +1.
and
we're
then
good.
on the away series,
Yeah.
I leave Tamara at home with
Right.
Coyote.
And then
I bring Jeff
you bring
as the
Jeff.
+1.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Everyone's winning.
Everyone. You know, worst
I like
case
it.
scenario,
Yeah.
maybe Nick takes Jeff as +1.
Nick can also do that as well.
Either
yeah, I
way,
like that.
Jeff is pretty much Greek.
Jeff is Greek, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I was singing my MALAKA song earlier, and he was all over it. I think I might have found a small little way onto a CD.
Jeff,
You know what I mean?
the CD, speaking of which, what's going on? Tell the roster what's happening.
Yeah.
It's in the final stages. I've uploaded it to CD Baby. It's going to be released to iTunes, YouTube, all over the world, worldwide release. Sometime this weekend. I'm just waiting on the final approval for everything.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Prestige
Worldwide
worldwide.
premiere. So, yeah, we'll be listening to a song next week with your blessing.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Marketing, maybe you. No investors, maybe.
Beautiful.
That's
Love
the Greek
it.
way, right?
Exactly. That's it.
So that's on Jeff's agenda.
That's right.
Mitch, what do we got on our agenda?
Beautiful. Today we got NHL. The playoffs start tomorrow. The real season starts tomorrow, right, George?
The most wonderful time of year, gentlemen.
Is it not?
We do have basketball Christmas.
We got a little
Now we got
basketball.
hockey Christmas.
We got hockey Christmas. We got. We're gonna talk slightly touch and go on the NBA.
Touch and go.
Like literally touch and
Touch, go.
Touch go. We got to run off. Then
Is
we
it
got.
weird? Is it weird that you know what? I'm not going to tie in the joke. Let it go.
Yeah,
move forward.
Just leave it
Let's
alone.
Just move
Just
forward.
leave it alone. Leave it alone.
It's too early.
We got rapid banter, and in rapid banter, there's gonna be AAF. Wow. Yeah. We got money. Yes. We did it.
Hold on. Do you mean in the segment called Rapid Banter?
We did it.
We did it?
Done it.
What's that? Rapid banter? Yeah. Okay, I'm done. This is new to us. We didn't know.
This is great. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. What a great surprise. That was your birthday present.
That's my friend. There we go.
Happy birthday, buddy. There it is. That is it. Right there. Done. Then we got a little WWE Wrestlemania on the weekend. We got to talk about that.
that
Jonathan
was big.
actually watched WrestleMania.
On our advice.
On our advice.
Next is Bloodsport.
Next is Bloodsport.
It's amazing.
It's a bigger push. Then we got to get down to the final four in our greatest sports movie athletes of all time.
I can't wait to see the results.
And then we have MAGA MALAKA. We finish it off. I got a little surprise for both of you. Got a little surprise.
You told me it's a little something. I'm waiting for it.
But George, watch this. Before all that,
we want to get into every show. You understand it. You hear it on the podcast. We talk about these exciting things. We want to get into it and talk about it, but we can't. George, you appreciate this because before we do anything on this show, and Jeff, cue the music. We got to bring to you the Headversity Metrics of the Week. Headversity.com, which is the leader in mental resilience in the workplace, in life, really in every facet of your life. Now, you want to get through? Ask Dr. RT. Go to headversity.com. Sign up, make a profile, get involved, get interactive. These people are doing wonders. Thanks to the team, Jordan, Cameron, Dr. Ryan, Todd, everyone, Dr. Karen. Now, we want to talk about metrics. Let's talk about something that things exploded this past week. Yeah. Exploded.
They really did.
I think it's because of me and you, Mitch.
Oh, it was.
90%, maybe a little bit. You know what? We'll give it to the kid. Jonathan was a little green. He did all right.
You did okay.
You did okay. No. Listen to metrics. Number one, we surpassed 80 followers on Podbean alone. Boom.
Boom.
Just like that.
That means we're one a day. One a week. One a week. How you doing?
It's over one a week.
Yeah.
We're at 81 followers right now. 77 episodes. It's like 1.05. It's amazing.
Big numbers.
Big numbers.
Big numbers.
Let me tell you another metric. Facebook. Not on the discussion community where we got over 1,000 followers, but we finally broke, that's right, the 200 mark on the official page.
What?
Just like that.
How?
I'm not done.
What?
No, I'm not done.
No, you're done.
No, okay. No, I'm not done. Let me tell you another place. Mitch, I think finally we made it.
Okay.
We are getting downloaded in the United Arab Emirates.
No.
Yeah, it happened. Someone is driving a diamond Lamborghini and downloading Real Locker Room Talk.
Get out of here.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. This is monumental.
This is monumental.
Bro, you got to know the sports.
You know what? You're right. A diamond Ferrari or something. Somebody is driving around.
And I'm like, how could this happen?
Right.
How did the Emirates know about Podbean?
How did they know?
And I finally clicked on it.
What is it?
Guess what country is close to the Arab Emirates? Something close to home for us.
For you, Israel. No?
Other country.
Turkey.
You know what? You're right on both. Next country.
Greece.
That's right. The Arab Emirates are close to Greece. Greece being the home of where else we get downloaded, Agape Greek Radio,
yes.
AGAPE GreekRadio.com,
right.
where clearly you can stream Real Locker Room Talk Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is why they're basically neighbors. That's where they did, because of the time difference, streamed it in the Emirates.
We are so hot right now.
It is awesome. And you know what? I want to thank my friend in the Emirates, but no, the thank you goes to...
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Stan the man.
Again.
He did it. He did it. The guy has done it.
Has he called us about that TV thing they're doing? The Agape TV?
Yeah, he called me.
He called you?
Yeah, he called me. Did he call you?
Oh, yeah. You know what?
It's probably because I invited.
Oh, there, yeah.
It's probably because I invited him to my birthday party. I mean, gathering. Sorry. You know what?
Let's just move on. Yeah, let's just move on here. You know what? That's great.
But no, that's what's happening. Exciting stuff in the locker room. Downloads are going like crazy. This thing, we've exploded. Look, we're in the Emirates now. Yeah. We are in the Emirates right now.
Buddy, the fact that we made it there, we're done. It's over.
You know how many companies beg to do commerce in the United Arab Emirates? What did it take us, 77 weeks?
77?
Of hustle.
Of hustle.
Of hard locker hustle.
That's right.
Speaking of hustle, let's hustle in because we're on a time limit.
That's right.
You know, we got a time.
Hey, Jeff was
strict.
I got this down to a science today, Jeff. Don't you worry. I got this down to a science. Listen, tomorrow, April the 10th, it starts. the regular season. Merry Christmas to all the NHL fans. This is what we've been waiting for, right?
That's right.
But before we get into that, I said to myself, you know what? This season went fast. We blinked our eyes and the season was over.
It's amazing.
But a lot of stuff happened. And I said, we got South Carolina, Georgia here. We are, of course, going to go over the playoff format. But I said, hey, why don't we do a quick little overview of the NHL season and how great a season it actually was. There was a lot of things going on. And I said, hey, let's start with that and we'll get to the playoffs. Playoffs aren't going anywhere for another month or two.
No.
It's going to go till July, easily. You know what I mean? And then the training camp starts right after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's do it. All right, listen, I want to start with a little bit of this. We talked with Jonathan about it last week, and he did such a phenomenal job, but I want to touch it again. I'm going through a list of questions, and I said to myself, this Tampa Bay thing, it is fascinating me. The Tampa Bay Lightning are breaking records left, right, and center. So much so that, George, I'm going to ask you and Dimitri these questions, and Jeff, of course, you can always pipe in when you need to.
Why does it have to be this year?
Yeah, exactly. He's so upset. Everyone, he is still not
Jeff
over
loves Tampa Bay.
He is still not over 2004. He is still
That's the
not
name of
over
his new album, Florida Lightning.
But here, I'm going to give you guys some stats right now. Tampa Bay, 62 regular season wins.
Incredible.
Most ever by an NHL team. Detroit Red Wings were the 05-06 also had that same record. So they're tied for overall best. They averaged 3.96 goals a game in a league now that you don't see that too often. They have come back. This stat was the most intriguing to me. They have come back a record, NHL record again, 29 straight games. Or not straight games, 29 times they've come back and won games. That's an NHL record. They beat out the 2015 Washington Capitals with that stat. They have 3 players over the 90-point mark. They have the goalie of all goalies with a .925 save percentage. And on the power play, on the road, they are at 33.3. My question is simply this. How is this team not going to win the Stanley Cup?
Guest honors, George, please.
Okay. I got 2 words for you, gentlemen. Washington Capitals. Do you remember what happened the year before they won the Cup?
No.
Okay, they were the best.
Pittsburgh beat them to win the Cup. No,
Yes, we'll get there. Well, Pittsburgh was ultimately responsible for eliminating them that year. But what happened was they were on a similar trajectory. They were the best team in the league that year. Now, they didn't do what Tampa did this year because what Tampa did this year is insane. And that's going to be, it's literally, Tampa had a historical season this year. So, but Washington was the best team in the league. They were just pummeling people. They had a phenomenal roster. That was the year they were saying the Capitals are going to win the Cup this year. There's no way. How can they not win the Cup? What happened? They didn't win the Cup. Fast forward a year later, they trade some players. Shattenkirk didn't end up working out. He goes to New York. On paper, they're a much lesser team. But what happens? They win the Cup. And and I want to add, too, at the trade deadline last year, they added that defenseman from Chicago. I think it was Kempney. And the year before, they added Shattenkirk and a guy that they paid a 3rd-round pick for the year later ended up being a good difference to them, and they won the Cup. So it can happen. Just because you do phenomenal in the regular season, boys, when the playoffs start, it's a brand new season. Honestly, in a way, you can throw all that out the window. It's what you do in the playoffs. Everything intensifies. Everything gets harder. Defensive play gets much tighter. It's just goaltending's a big difference. So many things can happen in the playoffs. So that would be a reason why Tampa wouldn't win it.
Dimitri?
Yeah. Why do we bring guests on that make amazing points and then I got to follow it up?
I offered you first.
This is a hard job.
Yeah, right? It is.
Everything that you're saying makes too much sense because it's not even just the straight in your face statistics. Yeah, they did win a lot of regular season games. See, I'm with George here. When it comes to the playoffs, it's a different season. I know it's cliche, but it actually is a different season. You go on runs, you come into a hot goaltending. There's so many different factors, and you're playing the same team, so you're starting to learn things as you go. So, but the stats that I like, when you can come from behind and win, when you're used to doing that, that's what's going to pay dividends in the playoffs because you don't feel the pressure anymore. I will say this. The one thing that scares me about the Tampa Bay Lightning is that they've had an amazing team for the last, I'll say, 7 years. They've always been there, and they've always should have been there. And even 2 years ago, they were everyone's favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Last year, they were some people's favorite to win the Stanley Cup. You know, when they ran into the Washington Capitals, They got decimated. They got absolutely decimated. And I just fear that for the longest time, we would always say that the West is the best. And it is, or the harder division. Yeah, West is the best. Everything is harder. But this year, you got to remember, Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins, these are the last 3 year Stanley Cup winners. And they got some real stiff competition coming into. Now, let's add in Toronto and Boston as well. So it's an interesting road for the Lightning to play a lot of the premier teams in the NHL. However, with that being said, I will say, I just can't not see them in the Eastern Conference final. At least.
I just feel like, did they leave it all out too early? You know, I'm a big fan of, if you listen to the podcast and you hear me talk, I love the streaks going in. I love that Tampa Bay is this good. I know it sounds weird, and I know that every Calgarian hates me right now, but I'm intrigued by this team. It's crazy, man. They're like the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can't go undefeated in hockey, but this team is as good as we might see in our lifetime, man.
What if they steamroll their way to the Cup?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm so looking at and I left a lot of stats off, guys. Like it took me a few minutes just to go through the ones that I thought were super important and wanted to add them on. It was amazing. I think that this team truly is destined to go to the Cup Finals at least. But man, I'm curious. Did they just leave it all out on the ice too early? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, me and George, as we were driving here to pick you up and get you all ready here, Julien Brisebois. If you know that name, he's the GM for the Tampa Bay. How lucky is this guy right now?
Oh.
This guy inherited a team from G.S.M.A that put this team together. He goes, I've got to go do something else. I got to take the trash out. I don't know. My wife doesn't want me doing this anymore. Whatever G.S.M.A's thing was. And then Brisebois like, oh yeah, by the way, do we have a team here? Like, what's going on? Like, this guy's got the easiest job of all time. He looks like the greatest GM next to Jonathan that's ever existed.
Yeah, you accidentally just win here.
Is that amazing?
We could have done the job.
Exactly my point. I'm pretty sure Brisebois is still confused. He's like, so where is this rink that you guys keep talking about? The team that you guys want me to manage? Where is this? Where? In Florida?
The guy still Google Maps his way to the rink.
I guarantee you he does. 110%.
Okay, Google, can you show me how to get to the rink today?
Exactly. So funny.
Amazing.
All right, next question on the agenda. Listen, the NHL this year had tons of young talent, all right? And when I say young, we'll go from a little older to the younger. You got McDavid, you got Gaudreau, you got Eichel, right? Mm-hmm. Then you go to the younger generation. You got the Peterson, you got the Dahlin, you got Tkachuk and Cholowski. Is the NHL ready for the next 10 years? Or are you worried that there's not enough talent going forward?
100% they're ready. 110%. Chip, you want to go even further back? Look at the draft coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, they're ready. These young kids, Mitch, they're going to take this sport into places we've never seen before. I have never seen hockey players as talented, as fast, as precise. To me, the game has never been more fun to watch. It's never been more exciting. It's unbelievable what these players can do. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with that 100%. I think it is ready. I think you could do the changing of the guard today, and you would not miss a step in the talent and the way the NHL is. Now, we got a lot of sentiment with the players that are slowly on their way out, like the Crosbys and Ovechkin. Let's face it, they're in their mid-30s now. They're coming into their mid-30s. They're slowly out the door. But we're going to be totally okay. I mean, we haven't even seen the best from McDavid and Gaudreau.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
Oh, man, McDavid.
I agree.
McDavid has a lot more to go. Watch out for this guy when he's 25.
Wait until I have a question about him in a few minutes.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not going to be with the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, you stole my notes. I knew it. Listen, we'll jump to that in one quick second. I couldn't agree more. These kids, I mean, I catch sometimes on Instagram some of the things they're doing. I saw the other day, Peterson had the puck on his stick. He flipped the puck in the air, flipped his stick around like a baton, caught his stick and caught the puck. Like, these kids are unbelievably talented, more so than I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm super excited and eager to see where it's going. I just wonder from a marketing point of view if it'll attract, let's use the NBA as a small example, okay? Every team has a superstar, and every team seems to market their guy well. The NHL's got to do a little bit of a better job of marketing these guys to the masses, because that's the only issue I have with it. As good as these guys are people learning? Are people seeing how great these guys are?
You know, they missed the boat with a guy like PK Subban that they should be pushing even more so. He's not the most talented guy, but man, he's got the sex appeal to do it. And if you look at the NBA, you look at the MLB, you look at everyone, they have animated guys at the top. They are animated character guys. The stars, they're cut and dry. They're like, they're very hockey mouth.
Great point. These guys that are all named, I mean, in all honesty, none of these guys are really talkative. None of them. You're absolutely right. They need one of these guys have to start becoming a little bit more vocal.
Could you imagine John Tavares being the face of the league? God, shoot me, man.
Yeah, man.
Are you crazy? Just get LeBron James to put skates on. Like, don't even play a game. Just be like, LeBron, can you sit on the bench and do interviews after? We'll give you the captaincy.
Last week, we asked Jonathan this question as well. We said Columbus. We weren't sure if they were going to make the playoffs at the time. They obviously they do, and their prize is the Tampa Bay Lightning. However, was it worth it? We asked Jonathan last week, is it worth it? He thinks that it's more from the signing situation a little bit further down.
That's what smart GMs think.
That's what they do.
That's beyond us.
Do you think that the fact that Columbus now made the playoffs, they're in, they're ready to go, they might get knocked out in the first round? Or is there an upset in the making? We'll find out in a couple of seconds. But George, did they make the right moves? Did Columbus do everything right just to make the playoffs by going all in and trading?
No, they didn't, because they gave up way too much of the future. And to Dimitri's point here, I'll be surprised if any of those guys come back. In fact, we know for a fact that Panarin and Bobrovsky are not coming back. It's rumored they're both going to go to Florida. So wherever they end up going, they're not going back to Columbus. They've already let Columbus know that they're not going back. So those guys are two of your own that are gone. Will Duchesne go back? I don't think he will. Dzingel, he may, but he's not a superstar. He's a very good player, but he's not a superstar. I think for what Columbus traded, they sacrificed way too much of their future. Now, the only way that I'll be proven wrong is if they do pull up a monumental upset, beat Tampa Bay, and go far. Then you can say, okay, yeah, it was worth the risk. But to me, it was just high risk, low reward, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't think it was worth it as well, and I agree with Jonathan. I agree with you, George, as well. That it all depends on what's going to happen in the future with these players, because they got some good pieces to have a solid foundation. They got some good, nice young players that they can build around and make a couple moves and always stay relevant. But now they sold the farm to play against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I wouldn't doubt if this team gets swept in 4 the more and more I think about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit too much. And speaking on the Florida rumor, there's even more incentive because now Florida hired Quenneville as their head coach. So you better watch out because Florida had some good pieces on this team before. If they get Bobrovsky with a little Wongo in relief and firepower like Panarin, oh my goodness.
Yeah, Florida.
Oh my goodness.
And that coaching signing, gentlemen, cannot be understated. In my opinion, Joe Quenneville is one of the best coaches in the history of the game. And it's not a surprise he went to Florida because you know who the GM of Florida is, Mr. Dale Talon, who was the GM, and he was the architect of the Chicago team that ended up winning 3 cups. So all tied together in a nice little bow.
There it is.
This is how we make the podcast last. Invite people that are smarter than you.
That's exactly it. That's it. Well, this is beautiful. Thank you, George, for explaining that. Here's my question now. The big question. Tomorrow is the start of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. The reigning champion are the Washington Capitals. Do the Capitals repeat? George?
I don't think they do, but having said that, to quote Mr. Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Woo! Well said, sir. Well said. Dimitri, I know you hate them, but be honest and be fair. Be fair.
Hold on.
Be fair.
I'm nothing but fair.
Be
am
fair.
Nothing but
This
fair.
is like me asking George if the Oilers, be fair.
I don't think they're going to repeat, and I don't think so. They have to get through. They got to get through the first 2 rounds, which I know is so easier said than done. Well, obviously, Dimitri, if they get through the first 2 rounds, they have a chance. But they start out slow. They're coming in against a hot Carolina team that's going to really play them with no fear.
Yeah.
But there's too much competition. I mean, you got to get through Pittsburgh, Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay. Hey, if they do that, good on them. Then they will repeat because who's going to take them down?
And they'll deserve to. They'll deserve to if they do that.
I don't think so.
Too much.
I don't think so. A lot of what they did to win the cup last year was the mental game
Yes.
and the mental preparation. Now, funny enough, at work, we had brought in a speaker, performance coach who worked with the Washington Capitals, and they were getting upset. And the reason they brought him in was because they lost to the Penguins 2 times in a row. Actually, the Penguins, all 3 of their cups were a result of them beating the Capitals when the Capitals were supposed to have the amazing team. So they brought this guy in, and he really shook things up mentally for these guys. And he remember saying to Ovechkin, he was telling the story, he goes, "You can place the puck anywhere because you're that good." He goes, but if you have a bad attitude, you can have all the talent in the world, but it means nothing if you have a bad attitude.
Absolutely.
I think that they were put partly because of his speech, but they were in the right mind frame. Now I think they're a little looser. Maybe they're not getting that coaching per se. So it's and people are hungrier.
People are hungry.
People are hungry.
That's for sure. I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep my money somewhat on Washington. A little bit of money. And I'll tell you why. Because exactly as you're taking your sip of coffee, those guys took a sip from the Stanley Cup last year. They know what it tastes like. It's like trying to get that last patron out of your bar. He just doesn't want to leave. I think it's going to take every ounce of every side to get Ovechkin and the rest of his crew to not want to party like they did last year. Yes, I am using their partying as the reason as to why they're going to defend their Stanley Cup championship that much.
I can dig.
I'm serious. That's what I'm saying. So I'm with you. Too much competition, but they're not going easy. I'll tell you that much. They're not, and it's against your Carolina to start. So you know what? I'm blaming you, George, if they don't do it. I'm blaming you. Simply said.
Not me.
I know it's north, but I'm blaming you. You're too close to it, George. You're too close to it.
I had nothing to do with Carolina getting in.
Rally sucks.
No. All right. Now we're going to talk about your boys, George. And then we're going to move into the playoff scenarios. Here we go. The Flames, second best team in the NHL. Still can't believe it. Remarkable. Are you impressed or are you nervous of how well they did in the regular season?
Both. Obviously, I'm impressed. I never saw this season coming a mile away. So I'm not only impressed, I'm proud. And this wasn't a fluke, gentlemen. They deserve to be where they are. This is the second highest point total they've had in franchise history. Think about that for a second. Second highest total. The only team that did better were the 88-89 Flames. And what happened in 1989, gentlemen?
Oh.
What happened?
I think we won the cup that year.
I moved to Edgemont?
Hell yeah. They won the cup that year. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to correlate to winning a cup, but it's a huge, huge accomplishment. Winning the Pacific Division, winning the Western Conference, those are difficult feats, and they did them. On the other side, yeah, I'm nervous because what happened now, unfortunately, is the Flames raised the bar.
Yeah.
When you raise the bar as high as you do, expectations get raised. If the unthinkable were to happen, and doesn't, that's plastic, but anyway. It's going to be a huge disappointment, guys. It just is.
Yeah.
And it's not with any disrespect to the Colorado Avalanche. They're a really good team. They have some really good players on that team. But I don't see a scenario in where if Calgary doesn't beat them, this isn't a large disappointment. Calgary at least has to advance to the second round, at least. And there are people in the city who are expecting them to go to the Western Conference Final. There are people in this city who expect them to go to the final. And with good reason, because what you do with what they did in the regular season, those expectations are incumbent upon you.
Dimitri, what do you think? How you feeling about our Flames?
Yeah, I really like the Flames odds. I really, really do. But I'm with George here. They have to get by this first round. They cannot. This isn't one of these scenarios where we just talked about Columbus. Yeah, they sold the farm, but Columbus in a weird way will get a free pass because you're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Calgary is the Tampa Bay Lightning in the West. They have to beat this team. They got to beat them convincingly. They got to finally show themselves and the fans something. There's no excuses anymore. I hope they're in the right frame of mind because it's going to get nothing but harder and harder and harder. Again, but look at the teams that are coming out. Look at the teams that are coming here. So it's
I find Calgary to be so weird, so fickle, right? Right after that All-Star break, everyone, you should have been here, George. Everyone's losing their mind. Holy cow, we lost 6 in a row. We're losing our minds.
Goodness.
All of a sudden, they kick everyone's ass, and they win, and they become the number 1 seed in the West. Now it's like, now the expectations are, you got to get to the Western Final at least, or the Stanley Cup. I think it's hilarious. I don't know. I guess I'm really curious to see how these guys adapt to it, because I got to be honest, as a fan, I'm going to cheer, obviously. However, I don't know what I want from them. on one end, you're both absolutely right. They got to win that first round. They have to. After that, I don't know. Like, will I find an excuse into why they didn't make it to after the second round, or when they went into the Stanley Cup? I don't know. Like, it's weird. I don't know what is good expectation for them this year.
But George said it perfectly. When you raise the bar, then you raise the expectation. This is the best team in the West. The expectation should be that you get to the final.
Absolutely.
Right? We are the best.
We're the best.
Enough of in years, you can give them a free pass. No free passes.
That's it.
No free passes.
Now I'm going to leave this last one, and then we're off to the playoff matchups. It's going to be very hockey heavy today on the podcast. You ready?
Love it.
Let's do this. If we go to Highway 2 and we go north, we're up in Edmonton.
That's
Two
right.
guys on that team had over 100 points. Crappy team, but two good players. You got McDavid, and you've got Draisaitl. Draisaitl, 50 goals, 100 points.
Not bad.
McDavid, 100 and something points. The guy ripped it up again. But the team sucked. Is there going to come a time where, with the new GM coming sooner than later, that McDavid will either say, hey, I'm out of here. Somebody trade me because I got to go. My talents are being wasted here. I want to win a cup, and it's not going to happen here. Or B, do they just say, hey, this Draisaitl guy is as high as it is. His stock is not going to get any higher. There's no way. Do we trade him? What scenario, if you were the GM of the Edmonton Oilers, would you do right now? Do you look to trade McDavid, I know it sounds crazy, and get a lot in return? Or do you look to trade a Draisaitl, or do you just leave it the way it is? George?
On McDavid, I don't think it's going to be a scenario where the GM looks to trade him. If they have one more season like they've had, McDavid himself is going to ask for a trade. I'll be absolutely stunned if he doesn't. This guy didn't sign in Edmonton for 8 years to toil in mediocrity, to not make playoffs. Look, the money is all fine and good, all right? But at the end of the day, this kid wants to win. All he's ever done in his life is win. This is a franchise player, gentlemen. This is the next one. And I hate it that he's an Edmonton Oiler, but unfortunately, because of the great draft rules, he ended up there. So the bottom line is, he's not going to stand for this much longer. If they keep toiling in mediocrity, he will ask for a trade, and they will have no choice but to trade him, because they're not going to keep someone there who's unhappy.
You know, it'd be amazing if they... So I'm the GM of the Oilers now, right? I trade Draisaitl, I get a wicked amount of players for him, and then McDavid turns around and is like, I want out of here too. that would be the best.
Would be amazing.
That'd be amazing, right?
Look, the way I stand on it is this. If you're the GM, no, you never trade McDavid and you never trade Draisaitl. These are points that you can work around this. But it takes a good GM and it takes a good team. However, I'm with George here. Look, if I'm McDavid and whoever's manager is McDavid's, you put a shelf life on how long you're going to stay here. End of story. You can't be here too much longer. You just can't do it. You got to look at guys like LeBron James that said, look, I gave you my heart and soul for X amount of years. You couldn't do anything for me. No problem. I'm going to touch and go. I'm going to listen to Mitch, Dimitri, and George. I'm going to do a little touch and go. I'm going to leave, win some championships, come back. Then I'll give you one. Hopefully you're smart enough. But you're right. They didn't get... The Edmonton Oilers are the millennial team of the National Hockey League.
Oh, the Edmonton Millennials.
The Edmonton... There it is.
We finally came in with them.
The Edmonton Millennials. They are so entitled because they get draft pick after draft pick after draft pick, and they blow it. So, McDavid... If you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
Well, guaranteed.
We're in the Emirates now. We're global. Of course. It's crazy.
We're not in Edmonton, but we're in the Emirates. How does that work?
Yeah, seriously. Seriously. Look, McDavid, give it 3 years.
Edmonton
max.
is the Emirates of Alberta.
Yeah, sure.
All right, gentlemen, it has come time. The playoff matchups are now set. George, thank you very much. Dimitri, thank you very much for answering all these great questions that we had.
Hey, great thought behind the questions.
I love it.
I love questions, Mitch.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the playoff matchups. If you listen to the podcast, we go from the East and we go to the West. Why? Because the West is the best. So let's just start off with a nice, easy one. Right over George, this is what's going to happen. I came up with this idea. Dimitri, Mitch, we had Jonathan, and we have you here. Hockey gurus versus two guys that are getting slammed by their own people. So I think me and you, we have to split up here, but we're fighting for our reputation. It's going to be us four in a round robin matchup. So Jonathan gave us his
Jonathan's
picks, and we'll
in.
get his other picks because it wasn't totally set up. But right
right.
now, you pick a winner,
Okay.
and then you get extra point for picking if your winner also has the same amount of games won. Right?
Okay.
Got it. All right.
So it's
Let's
a
do it.
4-horse race.
It's a 4-horse race, baby. Me and you, we got to do this for our boys.
We have to.
Got to do it. Here we go. Tampa Bay, Columbus will go around. George, honors to you, sir.
Tampa Bay in 5.
Tampa Bay and 5. George, Dimitri?
Times that by 2.
Times 2. And Mitch is going for the huge upset. Columbus to win it in 7.
No,
Yeah, that's right.
stupid.
I love it. I did it.
This is why his bookie loves
This
him.
is why he loves them. You did this last year with the
What did I say?
Washington Capitals.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
What do you mean?
The past is not always reflective of the future,
I'm
my
doing
friend.
it. Columbus at 7.
You are
Mark it
so
down.
crazy.
Mark it down and win some money.
Wow.
Kelly, put some money on that for me,
No,
baby.
Kelly, don't do it.
All right, next we go Washington versus Carolina. Dimitri, we'll start with you.
I think I put Carolina in 7.
Yes, I think you did.
Yeah.
You're right. I too had, I think, what did I have? I had Carolina. I joined you on that one.
Yeah, you did,
So
yeah.
2 upsets right off the bat. George, go ahead.
I got to go Washington in 7. Carolina's going to give them a good fight, but I don't think they have what it takes to beat Washington.
That's the smart money. True enough.
It's
but we're
the-
not smart.
No, well, we're going to win this. Don't you worry. The New York Islanders versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Islanders did kind of make a little bit of a run at the end and kept their home ice advantage. George, go ahead.
Sorry, Dimitri. I have to do it. Islanders, and I'm not doing it to piss you off, but these are the facts.
I beg to differ.
Best goaltending in the league.
Yep.
And both of them, not just Lehner, Grice too. Barry Trotz, genius hire. That team is so good because of the system they play. When you lose a talent like John Tavares and you're better than you ever were, there's a lot that goes into that. They play more as a team than I've ever seen them play. So I say the Islanders take it in 6 games.
Yeah, you know what? And you may have heard me say it before too. If you asked me a month plus ago, I wanted the Penguins to avoid this team completely because I agree. It's just the matchup they've been having all year. However, they were a bit on a downtrend. I'm going to rely on the fact that the Penguins are a better playoff team than they've been a regular season team last few years. So, and my heart's got to go Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Pittsburgh in 6.
Pittsburgh in 6. Dimitri. I got to go with Pittsburgh too, just because they got the firepower. I know George is right, though. This team
Yeah, he's right.
reminds me of the Vegas Knights of last year, and that's what's freaking me out. A little piece of me wants to take the Islanders,
Great-
but I'm going to
great
go with
comparison.
Crosby.
Very good comparison.
I'm going to go with Crosby. Let's go to the I think, honestly, this is going to be the best matchup of the entire playoffs, believe it or not. Toronto versus Boston. I think we chose last week, right?
Yeah,
What
we
did
did. I'm pretty sure
You took Toronto.
I had Toronto in 7.
You know what? I think I took Boston with Jonathan, but I'm changing my pick. I looked at it again and I say, hey, you know what? You know what, Jonathan? No, you are not hijacking this podcast.
No.
I am joining my partner in crime.
That's right.
Toronto at 7 is right. Go ahead, George.
Jonathan, buddy, I'm going to join your circle. I say,
You traitors!
guys, I see no way in which Toronto beats this Boston team.
Really?
No way.
Tough, man. It's tough.
But I was going to say Boston in 5, but I'm going to be a little bit generous and say Boston in 6.
Wow.
That is a
You know, in about 2 weeks' time, or
Yeah.
before, like after the first round, you and Jonathan can have your own show.
Yeah,
Mitch and I are gonna have to move to North Carolina.
Yeah, we have to go to North Carolina and do that. Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot, guys. We try to be nice, bring you on the podcast, and this is what you do, huh?
It's
This is what you do.
unbelievable.
Let's go to the West. Let's
go.
Where the Stanley Cup champions will come out of. That was my
That was your
bold
prediction.
a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to stick to that.
Okay.
But looking at these teams in the East, not feeling so good about that pick anymore. All right, let's go to the West. Let's start with a little Winnipeg and the St. Louis Costanzas Blues. Dimitri, we'll give you honors here.
You know what? I got to stick with my man Jeff on this one over here, and I got to take the Winnipeg Jets
Yes.
in 5.
5.
I think
You think their
Look,
streak of mediocrity is over.
I just think when playoffs, home 5. Okay.
I like it.
But they're going to be close games.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those. They didn't really beat them in 5, but they beat them in 5. You know what I mean?
I think I'm with you. I'm going Winnipeg in 6, and they're going to be partying on Corden. That's the way we're doing it, baby. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm taking Winnipeg in 7, gentlemen. I think it's going to be a knockdown dragout. I think this is going to be one of the best series of the entire playoffs. You can't discount what St. Louis did. You know, on January 3rd, they were last in the league. And look where they have come. And they actually made history by doing that. No team had done that before them. Jordan Binnington's been a revelation, their goaltender, but Winnipeg is just too powerful. I think Winnipeg is a playoff-built team. They didn't have the end of the regular season. They really toiled, and I know it didn't go well, and it was all over the place that, these guys aren't ready, but I think come playoff time, they're going to be ready. Winnipeg's a team that's built for the playoffs, and I think it's going to be a tough-fought series, but they're going to take the Blues down in 7.
Wow. You know what? It's a great pick. And this Blues team, they're hot. Let's jump over to the other mega series. It's the San Jose Sharks versus the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We've been waiting for this one for a little while. George, what do you like?
I'm going Vegas. I'm going Vegas in 6. Yeah. I love this team. What they did last year wasn't a fluke. Gerard Gallant is one of the best coaches in the league. They still play like a team. And the X factor in this series, gentlemen, is Marc-Andre Fleury. Mm-hmm. One of the best goalies of the modern era, in my opinion. He's just such a great goalie. In San Jose, their goaltending is very hit and miss right now. Martin Jones has been fighting it all year. I don't think that San Jose can handle them, so I'm taking Vegas in 6.
I'm also taking Vegas in. I think I said 4 last week, so I'm sticking with my.
That wouldn't surprise me.
You went with the sweep, and then
I'm going with the sweep, baby. Sweep!
And I'm keeping. I think I took San Jose 6.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's go to the team that came out of nowhere. Last little minute, Nashville came out and won that Central Division, but their award is taking on a hot team that's coached or owned by somebody that's Greek guaranteed. It's the Dallas Stars. Who do you like? Dimitri, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the Dallas Stars, thank God that they finally made the playoffs. They have the team to do it, and they've been disappointing. But I think they met their match. I don't think that the firepower of Ben and Sagan's enough to play a really tough, experienced playoff team right now. Let's keep in mind, this Nashville team, never mind that they went to the final a couple years ago, they've always been pitted against really hard opponents. So they're going to play well in the playoffs.
Love it. I'm with you on this one. George?
This is a coin flip for me. These two teams, in my opinion, are so evenly matched that, in my opinion, this makes this the hardest series to pick. I won't be surprised if either team wins. But I have to lean slightly towards Nashville in 7. I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. But I give Nashville the slight edge, so I'm going Nashville in 7.
Yeah, sorry, mine Nashville 6. That was what I was going to go.
I'll go 5 just to say that I have it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
You're over there.
I'm over
I
here.
Thought you said,
you do.
I thought you said
you take
I'm
6,
okay, Nashville.
I'll take 5, and then that's how we knock these guys out.
I see what you did.
Because they went too high.
So we're strategizing.
That's right. We're working together, and that's what we're going to do.
Didn't see that, did you, Jonathan?
Did you?
Huh?
Did
George?
you? George. Jonathan. Nothing. How about Calgary? The legends, the guys, the homers, our guys, the Calgary Flames versus the Colorado Avalanche. George, I'll give it to you.
Let me take my bias hat off, my fan hat off, and let's talk from a realistic hockey point of view here. Calgary's taking this series in 6, and they should take it in 6. Like I said before, if they don't, it'll be a massive disappointment. Calgary, for the longest time, has always been the hunted. They've been the underdogs. They're the hunters this year.
That's right.
They're the hunters. My opinion, with no disrespect to Colorado, but Colorado to me is a one-line team. It's the McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog line. Calgary, by all accounts, if they play the way they play, if Calgary's top line does what they're supposed to do, and the big X factor here is if Calgary's goaltending holds up in Smith and or Riddick, and I hope, it's whoever they choose to start better be the guy they go with, because if they're switching goalies, that's a negative sign. So if all those things come into play, Calgary should absolutely take them in 6 games. So I'm taking Calgary in 6.
Beautiful.
I'm keeping mine in 4. I think Calgary is just going to eliminate these people very quickly.
I think I joined you with 4 last. Yeah. Were we drunk last week with Jonathan in the room? No, right?
No. What, was his parents asking anything?
No, just... Did we say Calgary in 4?
We said, right? I think did we say Calgary in 4?
No,
for the record, if they eliminate them in 4, I'll do a Kale Matino in front of all you guys.
Now we are talking. Yes. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's go, Flames. Let's go.
Actually, you'll still be in town if they beat them.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If they sweep them, would you be?
Maybe.
We might make an exception if that happens.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
The birthday party before the birthday party.
We might fly to South Carolina just to see the Kalamatiano.
Absolutely. That's why we have Instagram. It's fine. Amazing. We have a lot of social media sites. It's all good. Well, there it is, gentlemen. There it is, roster. That was 45 minutes of complete hockey everything. I don't even know what else to say to you guys.
Awesome
That's
stuff.
it,
I've
right?
never lasted 45 minutes in my life.
No,
this was
never.
great.
That is true. That is 100% true in anything. Listen, from there, we got to rush because Jeff has given us the signal. It's rapid banter. You ready? Bottom line. We'll touch with the March Madness. Huge tournament. Just ended yesterday.
Yeah.
Virginia pulls off the big win. Here's a team that last year lost. First ever team to, as a first seed, lost to a 16 seed. They come back. They win it the year after. Good on you, Virginia.
Boy, did they take it personally. Look, after it's all said and done, when I look at this NCAA tournament, it had everything that you wanted. It had the favorites going through, then they all got knocked down, but the tried, tested, and true, the steady mule, it came in. Virginia won it. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good ending.
Good ending.
Very
story.
good. Remarkable, and congratulations to them. They deserved it.
There it is. Rapid banter. Done. I was good. You got to sit on the keyboard, Jeff. You got to sit on the keyboard. All right. From there, we go straight to the NBA. The NBA is 2 games away from their start of their playoffs. And just like typical NBA, right? There's 2 games left, but you might as well. It's like the 2-minute warning in basketball. It takes forever to end.
Holy smokes.
So we're not going to talk a lot about basketball because, hey, we just don't know where the final ending is going to be. The Western Conference has been set, but not the Eastern. We'll wait till next week. Me and Dimitri will take that on head on. That's it. Rapid banter.
Hold on. Yeah, but really quick, George, early favorites right now. If you could pick, who do you got in the East? Who do you got in the West?
Sure.
Golden State.
Easy. Come on, you're Canadian. This is easy.
We'll have to go Toronto.
Oh, well.
You have to go
I
Toronto.
love it.
Rapid banter. All right. You spent 5.5 hours on the weekend watching WrestleMania. I watched the highlights of it. George, of course, was doing the moves with his brother Louie at home on the mattress. Always be safe.
Always be safe.
Always be safe. Did you like WrestleMania?
I thought it was one of the better WrestleManias in recent years. I loved it. I loved the matches. And I got to tell you, the Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan match, that had me going. What great storytelling. I also like the change up where they brought in Lesnar Rollins at the very first match.
I'll give him that one.
Okay, I like the way that Rollins beat him. You got to make it believable somewhat. He can't take Lesnar one-on-one. He's got to get him with a nut shot. He's got to curb stomp him 3 times. That's the way you do it.
Did you see that? Did you see Batista and Triple H fight?
Yes, I did.
You know what? You said it a couple weeks ago. They had to bring the old guys in to make it. That fight was crazy. He like power bombed him off the top, on top of the railing thing. That the
steps.
The steps. That was crazy.
That, you don't fake
props,
that.
Man. Props.
You don't
props.
fake that. Like
Absolutely.
that was, one misstep on a move like that. I was saying that. I was watching with my brother and my brother-in-law. What he throws him 6 inches forward or misses it 6 inches back.
Yeah.
He's hitting the corner of that the steel
steps,
step that he brought in. Like that's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
One last thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, what did you think? Did you watch WrestleMania?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was okay. It's too long, guys. Like 7 hours with the pre-show. It's too long. I love the point you brought up about Kofi Kingston. It's there. I think they're finally starting to listen a little bit to the fans, because this guy was a clear fan favorite, and it was a good match too. And Daniel Bryan, in my opinion, is one of the greatest heels in the business.
Holy smokes,
he's
man.
old school.
He can do everything.
He can do everything. This
He can
guy,
be good. He can be bad.
this guy is so ultra talented. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. He's so well rounded. He can do everything. So it was good. Some good matches. I agree with you. That was a nice little swerve there with the Seth Rollins thing at the beginning. And to be honest, I expected. Look, I'm very happy for the women, and they deserve to be in the main event. And good on them. And more sports, including hockey, should be giving women their right due, because they're just as good as athletes as their male counterparts. But I was a little bit disappointed in that match. And to be honest, the finish looked botched. Like Ronda Rousey gets pinned, her shoulders up, and then they get. But you know what? It was an okay card. It was definitely better than I expected it would be.
Yeah, it was sloppy. The last match was sloppy. It wasn't executed as well. Not to say that it was terrible, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And look, for the WWE, it was a win-win situation across the board. If we're wrestling fans, my brother and I's tradition, every year we watch WrestleMania no matter what.
That's beautiful.
And it's really touching. Here's the thing. The last match is always the brutal match.
Yeah.
Because the people that fight in the match before, it was either the Taker match or it's like the Rock Hogan, like it's something big.
But it's also 5 hours.
Yeah, no, but it's lackluster. So for them, they're like, hey, we could be the people to put the women on at the end. It's typically not the best match of all time, but if they crush it, then we look like absolute geniuses.
Yeah, I agree.
John Cena coming out to rap, horrible.
Amazing. What are you
that was
talking about?
horrible.
He made fun of his
that
bush.
was horrible. That was horrible. That was full bush.
It was a
Full-
throwback.
Come on, no.
You just mad because you got
He
bush.
should have. No, he should have came out and fought. What's his name?
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
I agree.
That's
I'm
what it
with
should have
Mitch
been.
100%
And
on that.
final thing, the Bret Hart thing, that was a job by McMahon. He could just never let that guy have the microphone. My cousin Dimitri called it. She's absolutely right. That was horrible. I can't stand the fact that they just won't let this guy have 5 minutes of fame.
Unbelievable.
Shameful.
Mr. Hart. We are apologetic.
Shame.
There'd be no chance. That's that guy. What a
That's
jerk.
rapid banter.
This podcast rocks.
As we go next
That's right,
week,
Jeff.
I wanted to bring up the fold of the AAF, but we don't have time. Rapid banter.
They didn't either.
I love it.
We are now down to the greatest sports movie athletes, Elite Eight. We got to dwindle it down to the final four.
'Kay.
From the social media sites and everything like that, here are the finalists for the final four. You ready to hear
I'm
this?
ready.
All right. In the matchup of Jackie Moon versus Frankie Dukes, it was Jackie Moon that moved on to the next round.
No!
From our
Upset.
friend Ricky Vaughn versus Forrest Gump, it was Forrest Gump that moved on to the next
Standard,
round.
yeah, I could see that.
The next round, it was Teddy KGB versus Paul Crow. That was Teddy KGB moving on to the next round. Jory Lawrence versus Apollo Creed. It was a farce. Apollo Creed is off to the next round.
The fix is in.
Chaz Michaels has moved on to the next round over Neon. That was the
From Blue
the
Chips, Shaquille
Blue Chips,
O'Neal.
exactly. Ivan Drago has lost to Randy the Ram.
What?
To the next? I know. It's Randy the Ram is Randy the Ram.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Ernie McCracken has moved on to the garbage round. He has lost to Happy Gilmore. He made it to the next round. And then Daniel LaRusso took on Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa made it to the next round.
Beautiful.
Now, that was last week's picks, pardon me.
Yeah.
Now, here are the new ones. Rocky Balboa took on Happy Gilmore. Ladies and gentlemen, in a stunner.
No.
It was Rocky Balboa. I thought Happy Gilmore had this one.
No way. I mean, they both can fight.
They can both go.
Really, Gilmore's a two-way player.
He's two-way.
He's a two-sport
He's a
player.
Yeah, but take his club away. What's he got?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair
it's true.
enough,
It's
fair
true.
enough.
Yeah, but
And he
Gilmore
can fight
got
a
his
little bit.
Gilmore got his ass kicked by Bob Barker. Come on now.
Yeah, no
For
way.
real,
Yeah,
for
that's
real.
true,
Hey,
actually.
it is what it is.
That's who should. We should have Barker versus Balboa.
Hey, it's. Should have put him in there. Damn it! I didn't think.
Get the zone on the phone.
Randy the Ram versus Chaz Michaels. Well, people love their figure skating here in Canada. Chaz Michaels makes it to the final
Makes
four.
sense.
That's
Makes
Randy
sense.
the Ram.
Forrest Gump takes on Jackie Moon. The winner was simple. Forrest Gump, you can't
Obviously.
keep this guy down.
Forrest.
And Teddy KGB, the poker extraordinaire, versus Apollo Creed. This time, he couldn't eat enough Oreos. Apollo Creed moves to the next round. And there it is.
So what do we got for the final four?
Final
What's the
four.
matchup?
You got the Rocky Balboa versus Chaz Michaels.
Wow.
Versus, on the other side, you got, Forrest Gump versus Apollo Creed.
This is
This is epic.
This is epic. This is history in the making.
So there's potential that Rocky,
yes,
the movie, just had the greatest athletes of all time.
exactly.
But we don't know.
We don't know. And knowing the way you guys vote, probably not. Here we go. We are now literally 2 minutes away, Jeff. I've done it right to the 2 minute mark.
Step your game up.
It's MAGA versus MALAKA. And I thought to myself, look, you got the Flames, you got Tampa Bay, the two best teams. What year was that? That was 2004 versus 2019. Believe it or not, everybody, the Red Mile, the true Red Mile, was 15 years ago.
I know that's so.
So I said to myself, I'm going to put a little
I
analogy
hope
together.
the same girls that were
I'm
flashing
proud
their
to
boobs.
say I got arrested last time.
I'm just
write
gonna
that
say,
in.
I hope the women that were flashing their boobs 15 years ago just
not
stop.
doing it now.
Just take it easy in 2019.
They
Let
won't.
the new generation.
No, they
They're
Let
gonna
the new
go-
generation.
Exactly.
I'd still
They're
look.
They're gonna go from shirts off for Kippersoft to show your cans for Monahan.
Show your hand.
I love it. The Monacans.
All right, here we go. Here are the scenarios. 2004 versus 2019.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, well, let's start with a nice easy one right over the plate. Ready?
Underhand throw.
In Super Bowl 2004, the halftime show was the Janet Jackson situation with her breast out. This year was Maroon 5. He had his shirt off. Which was the MAGA situation? Which was the MALAKA situation?
Oh, Janet Jackson, MAGA, 100%.
Told you it was an easy one over the plate.
Give me a nipple slip all day long.
All right.
That's why I don't last 45 minutes.
Here's a little easy one as well. In 2004, Greece hosted the Winter Olympic or the Summer Olympics.
Greece is MAGA next.
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 Anything Greece wins.
Yeah.
The number one song in 2004 was Outkast, Hey Ya, versus Little Nas X, Old Town Road. I actually had to read it because I didn't know who it was. Who's the MAGA? Who's the MALAKA?
Outcast, MAGA.
Yeah.
So far,
Outkast,
2004 is crushing.
What a
2009.
great year that was.
This is not
Best
looking
summer
good
of my
if
life,
you
by the
go-
way.
Me too.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl of 2004. Oh, it was the New England Patriots. 2019, it's the New England Patriots. MAGA or MALAKA?
MAGA.
Big MAGA. Big MAGA.
Let's talk about fashion really quickly. You're talking about hoop earrings, camo hats, and capris dominated 2004 versus tight pleats, oversized hats, and sensible shoes, believe it or not, is the 2019 look. Dimitri, which one do you like?
Wow, I can't believe I'm going back to 2004.
I know, right?
Second
It's
that.
a trick question.
It was. That's what I said, too. It was-
Fashion is so stupid.
I agree, Jeff. MAGA for Jeff.
Again, the
All
wisdom
right.
train.
Here's a tough one for you, George. 2004, Flames, Iginla. 2019, Goudreau. Who's the MAGA? Who's the MALAKA?
how could you?
That's
Iginla.
right. I put you to the test.
Iginla, 2004 MAGA.
That was pretty
You know, that's another trick question. You really can't call either of those guys a MALAKA, can you?
No, of course not.
I'll tell you
That's
what,
blasphemy.
Stump 'em. I was trying to stump him.
If the Flames win the cup, then you got to go Gaudreau for the finish.
Yeah, isn't that
Oh,
the
yeah.
truth?
We'll revisit that question in 2 months.
Fair enough. Flames 2004 team versus our 2019 Flames team. George or Dimitri, who wants to jump on it?
You know what? All around, I got to go with the 2019 Flames team because at least they had business being in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt.
I have to agree with them. 2019.
And Jeff, to keep us under the wire or slightly over the wire, here's the last one.
All right.
Boys, in 2004, there was no video replay. 2019, there's video replay. MAGA or MALAKA?
Triple MAGA. Triple MAGA.
Maybe it would have saved us. We would have got the cup, last time.
We won the cup that
We
year,
won
all
the
right?
cup, right?
Enough. We
Jeff,
won
you
the
have no
cup.
idea what you're about to rub. Don't do it, Jeff.
No, you know what?
You're about to start ringing the bell, my friend, because I'm already getting worked up. Don't do it.
I say Malaka. You win convincingly. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
right.
It is
Oh,
MAGA,
boy.
MAGA, MAGA.
I was about to get up.
I'm joking.
I was about to get up, Dimitri.
I can't do it. I just, I try to stir the pot, but I can't do it. No, it was a MAGA. Just like having George on this show is a MAGA. Thank you so much, George,
Thank
for
you, guys.
traveling all the way up, man.
It's an honor. Thank you so much, guys.
It's our honor. Thank you.
But George, enjoy your time here. I know how many games you got slated to go to?
I'm going to game 1 for sure, and if I can find a way to game 2, damn it, I will.
Well, in a weird, sick way, I hope the Flames do end up winning in 5. That way, maybe you can get 3 games while you're here
That's right.
and
I would
get
love
it
it.
going. But either way, enjoy your time here. It was a pleasure to finally meet you. Get
Thanks
a
a lot,
face to
guys.
the name. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other more, so I don't have to wish you a good trip from now. But yeah, there we go. What another great episode. Look.
77.
What are you supposed to do? It's amazing.
It's
Look,
just getting easier and easier.
guys, don't forget to support the Locker Room. Don't forget to support RLRT. Follow us on our channels at Mitch and Dimitri, reallockerroomtalk.com. Get interactive on the polls on the Facebook site, Twitter, Instagram. Please check us out. And we got to say thank you to everyone that makes it possible. Headversity.com, AgapeGreekRadio.com, AlchemyStudios.ca. We are blessed to have just a team that brings it up here and fans just like yourself, George. that are making it all happen. And again, here we go. This is our sanctuary, Mitch.
This is it.
I love it. I love that we do it. But episode 77, we got to shove in the locker, and now we got to hit the showers.
All done. Thanks, boys. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, thank you.
You have to say